What's going on, guys? Today we're talking about the all-new Tamron 70-300 f4.5-6.3 for the Nikon Z Mount. Check out these sample images. As we saw from the sample images, this lens performs relatively well. It's sharp, good colors coming out of it. It's lightweight, coming around 560 grams. It's compact. It's not that heavy, especially on the Z9, which, you know, a lot of Nikon lenses are quite heavy nowadays. This one is not, so it feels really good on the camera system, and it comes in at $700 US. If you're one of those buyers that's like, hey Bobby, look, I just want a lens that I can pack in the bag, one lens that's gonna cover me for most of the things I'm shooting. I wanna shoot something at telephoto ranges around 150 to 200 to 300 millimeters, let's say portraiture or wildlife or birding or sports, and I don't wanna break the bank, I don't wanna carry a big kit with me. This lens may work for you if you've got ample lighting, because it's a variable aperture lens. 4.5 to 6.3. Speaking of which, let's talk about aperture to focal length. f4.5 from 70 to 80 millimeters, f4.8 from 80 to 125 millimeters, f5 from 125 to 140 millimeters, f5.3 from 140 to 175 millimeters, f5.6 from 175 to 220 millimeters, f6 from 220 to 275 millimeters, and f6.3 from 275 to 300 millimeters. But that 6.3 number is a little bit high for me, in my personal opinion. I think Tamron could have brought that down a little bit. If you're gonna sacrifice a few grams, I'd rather them sacrifice a few grams and give us a lens, let's say it was for 4.5 to 5.6. That would have been nice. 6.3 is really pushing it because that means you're always gonna deal with noise unless you're shooting at harsh, bright sunlight. That is something that I face, but with the Z9 that handles noise relatively well because it handles ISO performance really good in this camera, 4,000, 6,000, no issues at all with it. I didn't face it that much. And plus I have topaz denoise and I can clear all that stuff up. But if you are not using the Z9 and you're using, let's say, another Nikon Z camera, you may find yourself struggling a little bit with those higher ISO numbers. Now, it's not a deal breaker, but you may have to take this in consideration if you want to purchase this lens. Having said that, that's not the main concern for this lens for me. My main concern was the autofocusing performance. Now, to put things in context, I know the Z9 has had some issues with autofocusing, okay? It's not perfect, and there's been firmware updates to address it. But I will say, I've tested a lot of Nikon lenses. This lens is slower than others that I've tried. Around 280 to 300 thereabouts, there were times it would just not lock on focus. Even if the bird was just right there in front of me, sitting still, it would not lock on focus. I'd have to pull it back to around 150 to 200, lock on focus then, and then zoom in, and it would stay on focus. And this happened to me a few times. And I know, again, could be a Z9 issue, but I've tried other lenses and I didn't face this. But with this lens, this happened a number of times, which gave me concern. But to Tamron's credit, you can update this lens. There's a USB-C port on the side of this. Tamron does have a firmware update utility software out there that you can download and update your lenses, or if you can't do it from your own computer, you can bring it to the service center and they'll do it for you. So if there is a firmware update in the near future, which I think there probably will be, then these issues will be addressed and there'll be no issues at all with them. But if you're a hobbyist, if you're someone that just wants one lens to take with you on a trip or for work, and you're like, I know the lighting conditions, I'm okay with it, I'm still gonna get great shots, I don't need a teleconverter, I don't need to extend beyond 300 millimeters, you know what, for 700 bucks, try it out. Anyway, those are my thoughts on the Tamron 70-300 f4.5-6.3. If you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, more great content coming your way. Take care, stay safe, and I'll chat to you soon.